you were one of the most successful martial arts entrepreneurs. Give the guys a little bit of an idea of how that all came about.
I wanted to teach people how to gain muscle and lose weight, but my real dream, my real goal was to teach martial arts as a living, as a passion, but there's no one in the UK who had done it yet.
Hi folks, thanks for stopping by for the show. Today you're going to hear a wide-ranging conversation with the multi-millionaire entrepreneur and Michael Jackson's former bodyguard, Matt Fiddes. So stay around, listen to what he's got to say because there are some bombs. All right, Matt, thanks so much for being on the show. Really appreciate your time. Obviously, we've been mates for a while, so what I actually employ people to go and do is not for me to give you an intro, but to actually go and research you and find you. So if people are going to go and look for you, where would be the best place to find you?
If they just stick my name in Google, Matt Fiddes, M-A-T-T-F-I-D-D-E-S, they'll see all my social media platforms. I try and ignore most of it. Most of it, yeah. 90% of it's not true. But focus on my Instagram and my Twitter and my Facebook page, and you got some pretty accurate information there. The rest of it, some of it's self-generated, some of it's true, some of it's not.
But if you come across a 1990s copy of Martial Arts Illustrated or Black Belt magazine, then do as I do. Feel free to take a picture and send it to you.
Yeah, permed hair, me Duro tan. Yeah, absolutely. And we pluck pubes and we flipping Vito, whatever I had on. It was
incredible.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of my day, actually, walking into my dojo and seeing you there front and center on a coffee table, like dusk gathering. I just thought, I've got to take that picture and send it.
Yeah, man, that was like 22 years old. It's amazing they still got it. 98, I think.
You know what an old school dojo's like, though. They've got those combat magazine and all that kind of stuff lying around. Yeah, it's littered with history. But I mean, like, martial arts has played such a massive role in your life. But you know, you were one of the most successful martial arts entrepreneurs. Well, you carved the way, didn't you? I mean, for people that maybe haven't heard your history, just like give us a real compressed version of, you know, the sort of young 19, 20-year-old Matt becoming a millionaire by the time he was mid-20s. Just give the guys a little bit of an idea of how that all came about.
Yeah, I took all the thorns, is another way you could say it as well, because that's what the lead dog does. You take all the thorns. I started off my martial arts school. I went to the gym first as a personal trainer from the age of 16 while I was studying to be a personal trainer. I took the baller course. I remember that one, Matt. And I wanted to teach people how to gain muscle and lose weight. But my real dream, my real goal was to teach martial arts as a living, as a passion, but there's no one in the UK who had done it yet. So I did some silly things while I was training. I grew a ponytail because I read somewhere that if you have long hair, men look older. And I think there is some truth to that fact, but I would go advise it to do it nowadays.
It's the older blokes that are struggling to keep the hair these days, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I grew a ponytail, built my muscles up, and you know, it's like you all think at the beginning that it's all about how great I can be. So I worked on doing the side splits and the side splits on the chairs and the kicks in the air, which are pointless. But at the time when you're 18, you think it's going to attract students to you. When in fact, all people want to know you for, all parents want to know, and women or men are training with you, is what can you do for me? What can you do for my kid? They couldn't care less how many trophies you won, how high you can kick, how good you could do the splits, warm or cold. So the mentality shift had to come from somewhere. So I first of all opened up my first school, and it was a complete flop. No one turned up in 1997, and it was on a Sunday. And then I get back, and I was pretty upset because I had no qualifications. Parents had disowned me. My mum was a lawyer. My dad was all about get a trade. He worked for the Brunel Centre as an engineer, and so did all my great-grandparents and stuff on that side. And then I turned the TV on and realised Princess Diana died overnight, hence why no one turned up. And then a week later, I opened up and I had 50, 60 or so people there paying £3 a class. And then you have like a nice cream box at the end. You've probably seen it, Matt, in your martial arts career. You put the £3 in at the end of the class. It looks really professional. And I was doing well as far as I was concerned, because I was working as a lifeguard to supplement the income for £2.75 an hour. And while I was, and as a lifeguard, when the people went on the pool, you start going a bit crazy. You start seeing fish and stuff and so on. But it's a great opportunity for me to actually focus on how the heck can I do this thing? How can I make this into a real business? So I actually changed a few things myself initially, which was very controversial because I come from the Olympic style Taekwondo, WTF Taekwondo. There's two types. People don't know. It's ITF and there's WTF. WTF is what you see on the Olympics games with lots of kicking, very little punching. So by the time I was a black belt, I realized I could kick incredible, but the punching side I had to go and retrain myself in. And you don't change things. I mean, these arts haven't been changed since the founder brought it out. So it's not, you shouldn't change things. But I found that concept really difficult.
So the Olympic one is where the leg's out quite a lot and you're hopping and trying to score. Got it.
Yeah, the body shield, not much punching's going on. People just see all the kicks and things. For me, that was perfect. I was 6'4", got long legs, and it's true to say as well is that you could have somebody do a certain kick who's 5 foot and it won't look good. And if I do it, people are like, wow, that's amazing. But it's nothing more than the fact that your legs are longer. So you see Jean-Claude Van Damme, he's only a short guy, but he's got long legs on him. You know, he's all legs. So yeah, WTF Taekwondo worked for me. I loved it. But making it a business and monetizing it was very difficult. It was in every town back then. It was probably the most popular style of Taekwondo. Then it turned to ITF. So I tried my best. I changed a few things. I put music on the lessons. That's normally a complete don't do that. You know, you're not allowed to do that. It's got to be quiet, silence, do what your instructor says. Ego, don't talk to me. You know, I'm a grandmaster so-and-so. I made it more approachable for everybody as well. I used first name terms. I went on to change that. And things like warm-ups and stuff, I just compared it to a gym. You try working out without music. There's no emotion. You know, emotion, if you've got motion leads to emotion, and you need to have that energy. Trying to work out without music on is really difficult. So I started putting music on the classes. I changed the way I taught. And my instructor got very upset about it. They threatened to kick me out of the organization. Wow. I was affiliated to the World Taekwondo Federation. But it wasn't enough for me having 50, 60 students, because when it came to a hot day, Matt, no one would turn up.
Yeah.
Because they haven't got that commitment like you do if you're on a direct debit or standing order. But no one had done that yet before. No one had, back then we just had standing orders. Direct debits came out later. But no one put anybody on the monthly payments of the martial arts before.
Yeah.
I had this friend who just came back from the States, and he paged me. We had pages back there. To go and call him. So I remember going to the red telephone box. I still remember, it's still there today, actually, the telephone box. And I was living in a bed sit where we turned at night time, we turned the sofa into a bed and then back into in the daytime. It was deeply embarrassing because my parents just wanted me to, you know, slip up and go back to try and be in university, want to be a vet or something like that, which was never going to happen. And I went to the phone box and I called him up and he said, I just come back to America and you want to see what's going on out there. They're like 25 years ahead of us. And our mentality was always, we don't want to compromise standard for money. That was the way we fought in Taekwondo.
But there's no reason why you can't have both.
You can have both, yeah, exactly. And this guy said to me, you got no idea, Matt. I mean, their standards are better than what ours are. And they got the money and they're millionaires and they got thousands of members. So I saved up enough money from working for £2.75 an hour and my £3 per class to get on a flight to San Francisco where this big martial arts business convention was taking place. And there was over 1,000 business owners there from all over the States. Half of them were multi-millionaires, big names. Chuck Norris attended one of them. They opened up the event with the standards were unbelievable. And then one guy in particular, he saw me. I was like 17 at the time. And he said, so impressed the way you're studying everyone. And he's a big shot. He's very well known in the martial arts business world. And he must have been in his mid-30s then. He's multi-millionaire. And he said, listen, Matt, stay longer, come to California and just study me and follow me and take back whatever you want to England. Some of it might work, some of it might not. We don't know why it's not been introduced in the UK yet. So that's what I did. And I thought the guy was crazy, man. He was getting up at 4 a.m. His days were planned out. Everything, his lesson plans were totally planned out, whereas we used to run out of ideas, look at the clock, thinking, how are we going to finish this class?
Sparring.
Yes, run around the room, everybody. Let's hit some plans and all this type of stuff. It was so well worked out. And the business side, too, was very educational. They were not a fight club. They were like a private school. So I just loved it. Because I didn't know any different and I had no other options, I knew I had to make it work. So I came back to England. I tried some of the stuff, Matt, if I've got to be honest, like the high fives didn't work and the hugging like the Americans do. You know, they think you're crazy, especially in Devon. But first thing I did is thought, well, I need to get people paying on a regular basis. So I introduced a payment plan, the standing order. And I was one of the first out of 3 people we all did at the same time to do that. And I found that relatively easy to do that. And it was just about exchange of trust and value. And that works well. And then the concept of learning how to sell. Because if you can't sell, you'll never have a member in the first place. No business can work. So that was taught to me first. And with martial arts, you just show people the benefits of any business. It's not about selling and stuff. It's a dirty word associated to it, really. If you show people the benefits and the value, they're going to buy from you.
And I suppose the great thing with what you did was you didn't go and reinvent the wheel. Like martial arts schools have been around, you know, for a long time. You just took something that was maybe tired, like too caught up in tradition versus actually, you know, when you think about it, you want to be able to go and educate and spread the things that you know, certainly within a martial arts arena, because that's how it works. You know, you go and teach what you know to people. So by actually innovating and being able to find the mixture of both business and tradition and marrying them together, but with a modern twist, I mean, like you've not going to try to do something that's brand new, you know, create your own kind of moves and all that kind of stuff. Just taking something that wasn't working and made it better and contemporary.
Exactly, but put it in some kind of system of order as well, where parents can see you're not just teaching kicking and punching. And my mentor, one of the first things he's taught me is that you've got to have the philosophical side in your program, because if you take that out of the martial arts, all you've got is kicking and punching. And parents, when you ask them, we have a process they go through about what they want for their kid or themselves, or training with us, you would expect them to say they want to learn how to defend themselves. That's the last thing on the list, Matt. They want self-discipline, respect, weight loss, confidence, social element, meeting people, you know, gaining new communication skills, for making their kids not being bullied at school anymore. Anti-obesity, self-defense is the last thing on the list. But once we embraced that, I realized what I could do with it. So I put everything in, and everything was scripted. I had script for answering the phone, for booking people in, to enrolling people. And we had to adapt it to the American system, because it didn't all work. I mean, they were 20 years ahead of our time. You've got to remember, back then, we never did the internet either. So we didn't know this was going on out there. It just happened by chance, really. And and I just kept on going backwards and forwards. I think I got back within a year. I went 11 times to the States and just studied the greats out there, brought it back.
And had they already been franchising themselves out there, and that's what you studied, or you just got into the, I suppose, the pattern of come back, document everything, create the scripts? Is this what the mentor had kind of instilled in you over there, or was it just something that you did by accident, or how did that come about?
He ran like what you'd call like a mastermind group these days of successful martial arts millionaires. So he would encourage me. This guy was in his 80s back then. He would encourage me to what they called networking. So he would want me to study one person, get as much out of them as I can, and then so somebody who's good at sales, for instance, and marketing, and then take down their element, and then go to another part of America and study someone who's very good at customer service, or what we call student retention, and then someone else is good at this lesson planning side or energy in the classes. So by visiting all these different schools, you could then almost come together and have the perfect system that works for you, that you feel comfortable with. So I studied all the greats. So I started off with one guy called Dave Kovar, who is a great friend of mine. And when he comes over, he actually studies what I do now too. He's 62, I believe, he's in California. So there was no franchising, no. There was only chains of schools. I was the first to franchise martial arts. There was no franchising going on whatsoever. The biggest chain I knew of back then was about 5 or 6, which is Kovar Martial Arts. And it was just, for me back then, it was just trying to get it right, to prove everybody wrong. So I got to 100 members out of a village hall, £15 a night, and they're paying on average anywhere from £49 to £79 a month for 2 lessons a week. I mean, you do the maths on that, I was earning like £6,000–7,000 a month. That was enough to prove my family wrong. And then the rest of the time I spent in the gym, growing my perm, as you're going to mention, I'm sure, at some point.
The guns, yeah.
And working on my training, you know, trying to build these big muscles that were completely useless to me at the time, but it made me feel good. And then I suddenly clicked, can I do it again? Because there was an element of me thinking, is this just luck or what? You know, I'm 18 and making this kind of money. And I did the full-time school thing. I wanted the whole American. So you go to America, every corner you see these full-time martial arts schools. They've been severely hit with COVID now, I have to say, the full-time ones especially. But I wanted that status of having my own building where you walk in and you've got all these floors and stuff. And that's exactly what happened. So I had to convince the landlord to give me 6 months free rent to teach karate in his eyes. That took some doing. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. A little bit like, where have you been watching Cobra Kai? Have you seen any of those?
Yeah.
Absolutely. When he...
It's me sometimes. I get DMs saying, can I have an autograph? Because that guy looks a little bit like me when I was younger with a ponytail. I get DM. Let's put a post out on Instagram.
What, Terry Silver? You remember Terry Silver?
Driving me insane.
Yeah.
Like, who you are? He goes, Daddy. And I says, no, it's not really at all.
Brilliant. Hey folks, thanks for watching the video. If you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button. If you didn't, don't. Hit the bell if you want to get some notifications, and we will see you back next week for some more videos. See you soon.